Chapter 1. The Aftermath. The galaxy of Valaris lay in a tenuous peace, its stars twinkling like distant beacons of hope against the dark canvas of space. On the surface of Eridani Prime, one of the many planets scarred by the recent civil war, the bustling city of New Haven struggled to reclaim its former glory. Among the throngs of people navigating the crowded streets was Captain Eliana Rey, her stride purposeful yet weary as she maneuvered through the sea of faces. Eliana, a skilled pilot of the Celestial Alliance, was no stranger to the horrors of war. Her uniform, once a symbol of honor and duty, now felt like a weight upon her shoulders, a constant reminder of the lives lost and the choices made in the heat of battle. As she made her way to the Veterans Memorial in the heart of the city, her thoughts were a whirlwind of memories and regrets. The memorial itself was a striking structure, a series of interconnected pillars rising toward the sky, each one engraved with the names of those who had fallen. Eliana's gaze traced the columns, searching until she found the names she knew all too well. Her fingers brushed against the cold stone, the names of her fallen comrades etching themselves into her heart. "Never forgotten," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the hum of the city. It was there, amid the solemn quiet of the memorial, that Eliana's solitude was interrupted by an unexpected presence. Dex Tarron, a man whose reputation as a charming smuggler was known far and wide across Valaris, approached with a casual swagger that belied his keen awareness of his surroundings. His eyes, a striking shade of blue, locked onto Eliana's with an intensity that took her by surprise. "Eliana Rey, as I live and breathe," Dex said, his tone a mix of amusement and respect. "Never thought I'd find the Alliance's finest pilot in a place like this." Eliana stiffened, her guard up in an instant. "What do you want, Tarron?" Dex raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Just passing through. But I've heard things, Eliana. Rumors of supply shortages on the outer planets, of people suffering because the Alliance can't, or won't, get them what they need." Eliana turned away, her gaze returning to the memorial. "And what's that to you? Last I checked, you weren't in the business of caring." "Maybe I've changed," Dex countered, his voice softer. "Or maybe I've found a cause worth fighting for. The war's over, but people are still dying, Eliana. There's work to be done." Their conversation was cut short by the sound of a commotion nearby. A group of disgruntled citizens had gathered, their shouts growing louder as they protested the Alliance's governance and the slow pace of reconstruction. Eliana and Dex exchanged a look, an unspoken agreement passing between them. "Seems like we've got more immediate problems," Dex remarked, nodding toward the crowd. Eliana sighed, a sense of duty overtaking her reluctance. "Let's see what we can do." As they approached the protesters, Eliana felt a shift within her. Here, in the aftermath of war, amidst the brokenness of her planet and the complexities of her encounters, a path was beginning to emerge, one that promised redemption, not just for her, but for the galaxy she called home. And perhaps, in the company of an unlikely ally like Dex, she would find the strength to walk it. Chapter 2. Crossing Paths. The unrest in New Haven's streets ebbed as quickly as it had surged, a testament to the city's fragile peace. Eliana and Dex, having helped calm the tensions among the protesters, found themselves walking side by side through the city's recovering districts. The air was filled with the buzz of reconstruction drones and the distant hum of spacecraft engines, a melody of progress and perseverance. As they navigated the labyrinth of streets, Dex broke the silence. "I've got a shipment of medical supplies bound for Thetis IV. They've been hit hard by the blockade, and the Alliance's red tape is only making things worse." Eliana cast him a sideways glance, skepticism written across her face. "Since when do you run charity missions, Tarron?" Dex's smile was tinged with sadness. "The war changed a lot of things, Rey, including me." He paused, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "I could use someone of your talents. The route's tricky, and Alliance patrols are thick." The proposal hung in the air, a bridge between their past animosities and the potential for a shared purpose. Eliana pondered the offer, her mind racing. Working with Dex, a known smuggler, could jeopardize her standing with the Alliance. Yet the chance to make a real difference, to help those suffering on Thetis and V, stirred something within her. "All right, Tarron," she finally said, her voice firm with resolve. "I'm in, but we do this my way. No unnecessary risks." Dex's grin was infectious. "Wouldn't have it any other way." The mission begins. Preparations were swift. Dex's ship, the Nebula Runner *, was a sleek, fast, and, most importantly, unassuming vessel that had seen more of the galaxy than most would in a lifetime. As Eliana boarded, she couldn't help but admire the ship's well-worn cockpit, each scratch and dent telling a story of narrow escapes and daring adventures. Their departure from Eridani Prime was smooth, the Nebula Runner * slipping past Alliance patrols with ease, a testament to Dex's piloting skills. As planets and stars became a blur outside the cockpit window, Eliana found herself grappling with the reality of her decision. She was no longer Captain Eliana Rey of the Alliance. She was a rogue element, a defector in the eyes of her superiors. Yet, the weight of her uniform felt lighter, replaced by a burgeoning sense of purpose. Thetis sci-fi loomed ahead, its once verdant continents marred by the scars of blockade and neglect. The planet's plight was a stark reminder of the war's toll, not on armies or fleets, but on innocent lives caught in the crossfire. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, Dex's voice cut through the tension. "We're not the only ones trying to run the blockade. Got word of an Alliance patrol in the area. Keep your eyes peeled, Rey." Eliana manned the ship's sensors, her expertise as a pilot shifting seamlessly to the role of co-pilot. The familiar adrenaline rush of evasive maneuvers and strategic planning surged within her, a reminder of her days in the cockpit during the war. Their luck held until the final descent, when an Alliance patrol cruiser emerged from the cover of Thetis V's lone moon. "Unidentified vessel, you are in violation of the Alliance blockade. Stand down and prepare to be boarded," came the stern warning over the comm. Dex glanced at Eliana, a silent question in his eyes. She nodded once, decisively. "Run the blockade. I'll handle the comms." With a deft touch, Dex piloted the Nebula Runner * through a series of daring maneuvers, weaving through the barrage of warning shots and disabling beams. Eliana, meanwhile, opened a channel to the cruiser, her voice calm and authoritative. "This is a humanitarian mission. We carry medical supplies for Thetis IV. Stand down and let us pass." The standoff was tense, the cruiser's captain unmoved by Eliana's plea. It was only when she invoked her name, her reputation as a war hero, that the cruiser hesitated, long enough for the Nebula Runner * to make a daring escape into the planet's atmosphere. As they landed in a secluded valley, hidden from the prying eyes of the Alliance, Eliana and Dex were met by a group of Thetis V's resistance. Their gratitude was palpable, their relief at receiving the supplies a bittersweet reminder of the galaxy's lingering wounds. In that moment, Eliana realized the true impact of her decision. She had crossed paths with Dex, not by chance, but by destiny, a shared journey that had only just begun. Together, They had not only breached a blockade, but had also started to bridge the chasm left by the war, one small act of defiance at a time. Chapter 3. Shadows of War. In the quiet that followed their successful delivery on Thetis IV, Eliana and Dex found themselves camped near the edge of the valley, under the vast canvas of stars that stretched across the sky. The Nebula runner stood silent behind them, a silent guardian in the night. It was here, by the flickering light of a makeshift fire, that the barriers between them began to erode, giving way to the shared experiences of their pasts. Eliana's reflection. Eliana stared into the flames, her mind drifting back to the days of the war, to battles fought in the vast emptiness of space and on the ground of distant worlds. She remembered the exhilaration of victory, the despair of defeat, and the unending sorrow of loss. Most of all, she remembered the moment that had changed everything for her, a mission gone wrong, where civilian casualties had been too high a price for a fleeting victory. "I was leading a squadron on a raid against a coalition supply depot," Eliana began, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to shatter the fragile peace of their camp. Intelligence was faulty. It wasn't just military supplies. There were civilians, families. She paused, the weight of her confession pressing down on her. "We didn't know until it was too late." Dex listened in silence, his expression unreadable in the firelight. He understood all too well the burden of decisions made in the heat of battle, the haunting what-ifs that lingered long after the war had ended. Dex's story. After a moment, Dex spoke, his voice a soft counterpoint to the crackling of the fire. "I was on the other side of those battles," he said, "running supplies, dodging Alliance patrols. I saw the aftermath of the raids, the destruction left in their wake, but I also saw the resilience of those who survived, the determination to rebuild." He looked at Eliana, his blue eyes reflecting the fire's glow. "We all did what we thought was right, based on the orders we were given, the information we had. The war. It changed us, forced us to confront the darkest parts of ourselves, but it doesn't have to define who we are now." A moment of understanding. Their conversation stretched into the night, a cathartic exchange of experiences and regrets. For Eliana, hearing Dex's perspective, the view from the other side, was a revelation. It was one thing to know of the war's impact in abstract terms, quite another to hear it described by someone who had lived it from a different angle. In Dex, she found not just a former adversary, but a kindred spirit, someone who understood the complexities of war and the possibility of redemption. As the fire died down to embers, a comfortable silence settled between them. They were two souls, once on opposing sides, now united by a shared mission and a mutual understanding of the cost of war. It was a bond, forged not just by the adventure they had embarked upon, but by the recognition of each other's humanity. The dawn of understanding. The first light of dawn found them still seated by the now cold ashes of their fire, the shared confessions of the night having laid the groundwork for a deeper alliance. As they prepared to leave Thetis IV, Eliana felt a shift within her. The burden of her past, though not lifted, now seemed bearable, shared as it was with someone who had walked a similarly rocky path. For Dex, the night had brought a sense of closure, a feeling that perhaps the end of the war did not mark the end of his journey, but the beginning of a new chapter, one where he could make a difference, not just in the shadowy fringes of the galaxy, but in the light of new beginnings. Chapter 4. Fragile Alliances. As the Nebula runner set its course away from Thetis 1 the galaxy of Valaris seemed to unfold before Eliana and Dex, a tapestry of stars and possibilities. Yet, the delicate peace that held the galaxy together was more fragile than it appeared, a truth that was about to become all too apparent. A summon from General Kade. The tranquility of their departure was interrupted by an incoming transmission, a secure channel request that carried with it the weight of authority. It was General Kade, a figure whose reputation for strategic brilliance and unyielding loyalty to the Celestial Alliance was known throughout the galaxy. Eliana Rey, Dex Tarron. Kade's voice was firm, his image on the screen marked by the lines of countless battles and sleepless nights. I have a mission for you, one that requires discretion and your unique talents. Eliana exchanged a wary glance with Dex. Dealing with the Alliance, especially someone as high-ranking as General Kade, was risky. Yet the potential to further aid those in need was too great to ignore. "What kind of mission?" Eliana asked, her tone neutral. Kade's gaze seemed to pierce through the screen, a measure of the man's intensity. "There's a growing threat to the peace we've fought so hard to achieve. A faction within the coalition, dissatisfied with the treaty, is planning to reignite hostilities. We've intercepted communications, but we need concrete evidence." "And you want us to get this evidence?" Dex surmised, his voice laced with skepticism. "Exactly," Kade confirmed. "Your unconventional methods might be just what we need." A plan takes shape. The mission was fraught with danger, a foray into the heart of potentially hostile territory. Yet the chance to prevent another war, to protect countless lives from the horrors Eliana and Dex knew all too well, was a call to action they could not ignore. Their plan was simple in outline, yet complex in execution. They were to infiltrate a coalition base on the remote planet of Sarnis the Faemth, gather the necessary evidence of the plot against the Alliance, and extract without detection. The success of the mission hinged on their ability to blend in, to become shadows among the restless factions of the coalition. Into the Lion's Den. Sarnis the Faemth was a world of sharp contrasts, its rugged landscapes a reflection of the planet's tumultuous history. The coalition base was nestled in the heart of a vast desert, a fortress of solitude in the barren expanse. Eliana and Dex, adopting the guise of mercenaries seeking work, made their way into the base. The atmosphere was one of tension, the air thick with the anticipation of conflict. Yet, beneath the surface, there were those who, like them, yearned for a lasting peace, weary of the endless cycle of war. Their search led them to a secluded archive, where the evidence of the plot against the Alliance was stored. The data they uncovered was damning, a detailed plan to sabotage peace talks and reignite the flames of war. But their success was short-lived, as they were discovered by a patrol, leading to a tense standoff. A narrow escape. The ensuing escape was a testament to their skills and the bond they had formed. Working seamlessly together, Eliana and Dex managed to evade capture, using a combination of cunning and sheer determination to make their way back to the Nebula runner *. As they set their course away from Sarnis the Faemth, the gravity of their discovery weighed heavily upon them. They had the evidence to potentially avert a crisis, but at what cost? The lines between friend and foe were blurred, the mission revealing the complex web of loyalties and betrayals that lay beneath the surface of the galaxy's fragile peace. A return to uncertainty. Their return to Alliance space was marked by a sense of unease. General Kade's acknowledgement of their success was tinged with a warning, a reminder of the delicate balance they had disrupted. "You've done well," Kade said, his expression grave. "But be cautious. The revelations you've brought to light will have consequences. For the Alliance, for the Coalition, and for you both." As the transmission ended, Eliana and Dex were left to ponder their next steps. They had forged a path through the shadows of war, their alliance strengthened by the trials they had faced. Yet, as the Nebula runner journeyed through the stars, the future remained uncertain, the peace they sought a distant beacon in the dark. Chapter 5. Unlikely Bonds. Following their harrowing escape from Sarnis of Irfinf, Eliana and Dex found themselves navigating the nebulous terrain of galactic politics, their recent mission casting long shadows over their journey. The evidence they had secured was a beacon of hope, but the path forward was fraught with uncertainty. It was during this period of uneasy reflection that the Nebula runner received a distress signal, a cry for help that would lead them to an unexpected alliance and a new perspective on their fight for peace. The distress signal. The signal originated from Corinthia, a small, resource-rich planet that had suffered greatly during the war. Its people were fiercely independent, having resisted both alliance and coalition control, which made the distress call all the more intriguing. "Someone's in trouble," Dex said, his hand hovering over the controls. "Could be a trap." Eliana considered their options. "We can't ignore it. If there's a chance to help, we have to take it." Their approach to Corinthia was cautious, the Nebula runner gliding silently through the planet's upper atmosphere. The source of the signal was a remote settlement near the edge of the Carathen forest, a vast expanse of ancient trees and hidden dangers. A new ally. Upon landing, they were met by Mira Solen, a young woman with a sharp intellect and a fierce determination to protect her home. Mira was a tech genius, known among her people for her ability to repair and repurpose technology scavenged from the war. "The settlement's defense systems are failing," Mira explained, her gaze flickering between Eliana and Dex. "Raiders have been attacking more frequently, and without the defenses, we're vulnerable." Eliana and Dex agreed to help, their mission to gather evidence momentarily set aside in the face of immediate need. Together with Mira, they worked to restore the settlement's defenses, a task that required not only technical skill, but also a deep understanding of the community's resilience and resourcefulness. Bonding over repairs. The work was hard, the days stretching into nights as they labored to strengthen the settlement's defenses. It was during these long hours that a bond formed between Eliana, Dex, and Mira, forged through shared purpose and the stories they exchanged beneath the stars. Mira spoke of her life on Corinthia, of the beauty of the Carathen forest, and the pain of watching her world be torn apart by conflict. Eliana and Dex shared their own stories, their voices weaving a tapestry of loss, hope, and the search for redemption, a test of defenses. Their efforts were put to the test when raiders attacked, drawn by the rumors of a weakened settlement. The battle was fierce, the night sky alight with the blaze of energy weapons and the roar of engines. But the settlement's defenses held, a testament to their hard work and Mira's ingenuity. In the aftermath of the attack, as they surveyed the damage and tended to the wounded, Eliana, Dex, and Mira found themselves reflecting on the meaning of their fight. It was no longer just about gathering evidence or navigating the murky waters of galactic politics. It was about the people and the lives they touched, the small victories in the face of overwhelming odds. A new understanding. As dawn broke over Corinthia, casting a soft light on the settlement and the forest beyond, Eliana, Dex, and Mira stood together, united by their experiences. Mira, inspired by their courage and compassion, decided to join them on their journey, her skills and knowledge a valuable addition to their mission. The Nebula runner lifted off, leaving Corinthia behind, but carrying with it a renewed sense of purpose. Eliana, Dex, and now Mira were not just survivors of the war. They were architects of the peace to come, bound by unlikely friendships and the shared belief that even in the darkest times, there is light to be found. Chapter 6. Secrets Unveiled. With Mira Solen now a part of their crew, the Nebula Runner set its course toward the heart of the galaxy, where the threads of their mission began to weave together a tapestry of intrigue and revelation. The evidence they had gathered from Sarnis V, combined with Mira's technical expertise, pointed them toward a clandestine meeting on the neutral planet of Zenith Prime, a world known for its sprawling urban landscapes and a hub for diplomatic negotiations. A covert operation. Zenith Prime presented a stark contrast to the remote and war-torn planets Eliana, Dex, and Mira had encountered thus far. Its towering cities were a beacon of technological advancement and cultural diversity, yet beneath its gleaming surface lay a web of shadowy deals and covert operations. Their plan was to infiltrate one such meeting, where key figures from the dissident faction within the coalition were rumored to be finalizing plans against the Alliance. The stakes were high, and the margin for error was slim. Utilizing Mira's technical skills, they crafted false identities and slipped into the heart of Zenith Prime, undetected by the ever-watchful eyes of both Alliance and Coalition forces. The meeting. Cloaked in the anonymity of their disguises, Eliana, Dex, and Mira made their way to the meeting's location, a nondescript building nestled among the neon-lit avenues of Zenith Prime's commercial district. Inside, the air was thick with tension, the room filled with representatives from various sectors of the galaxy, each with their own agendas and alliances. As the meeting commenced, the trio listened intently, recording evidence of the planned actions against the Alliance, the locations of secret bases, and the identities of those leading the charge. Mira's devices captured every word, her fingers moving deftly over her datapad to ensure nothing was missed. An unexpected turn. Just as they were about to withdraw, the unexpected happened. Among the speakers, a figure rose, their voice familiar to Eliana and Dex, a high-ranking Alliance officer thought to be loyal to the cause of peace. The revelation that someone from within the Alliance was colluding with the dissidents sent a shockwave through Eliana, challenging her beliefs and forcing her to question where the true loyalties of many might lie. The meeting ended abruptly, the participants dispersing into the shadows from which they came. Eliana, Dex, and Mira made their escape, the weight of their discovery heavy upon them, the weight of secrets. Back aboard the Nebula Runner, the atmosphere was somber. The evidence they had collected was damning, a clear sign that the threat to the galaxy's fragile peace was far more complex and insidious than they had imagined. Eliana felt the sting of betrayal, her trust in the Alliance shaken to its core. Dex, ever the pragmatist, focused on their next steps, on how best to use the information they had obtained. Mira, though new to the intricacies of galactic politics, understood the gravity of their situation, her resolve strengthened by the knowledge that her skills were pivotal to their cause. A path forward. The trio faced a difficult decision. Exposing the conspiracy would not only place them in direct conflict with powerful enemies, but also risk igniting the very conflict they sought to prevent. Yet, silence was not an option. They agreed that the evidence must be brought to light, but in a way that would safeguard the fragile peace and protect those who had no part in the machinations of power. As the Nebula Runner journeyed through the stars, its course uncertain, Eliana, Dex, and Mira found solace in their shared purpose. They had become more than just allies. They were guardians of a truth that held the power to shape the future of the galaxy. Their next steps would require careful planning and unwavering courage, for the path to peace was paved with secrets, and the light of truth was their only guide. Chapter 7. Betrayals. The revelations on Zenith Prime left Eliana, Dex, and Mira grappling with the magnitude of the conspiracy they had uncovered. The evidence pointed not just to external threats, but to a rot within the Alliance itself, a betrayal that went deeper than they had imagined. As the Nebula Runner carved its path through the cosmos, a plan began to take shape, one that would require them to confront the very heart of the Alliance. Return to Alliance space. Their return to Alliance space was a silent affair, each member of the crew lost in their thoughts, considering the implications of their discovery. The decision to confront General Kade directly was not taken lightly. Eliana, in particular, felt the weight of this choice, her loyalty to the Alliance now tinged with a bitter sense of betrayal. Arriving at the Alliance's central command on Delphi 6, they were met with a mixture of suspicion and guarded respect. Eliana's reputation as a skilled pilot and war hero afforded them a level of access that few could manage, but the evidence they carried was a grenade waiting to be thrown. The confrontation. The meeting with General Kade was tense, the air charged with unspoken accusations and fears. Eliana presented the evidence with a steady voice, laying bare the extent of the conspiracy and the involvement of Alliance officials. General Kade's reaction was a complex tapestry of anger, disbelief, and a grudging respect. He had been a mentor to Eliana, a figure of stability and integrity in a galaxy torn by conflict. The revelation that he had been kept in the dark about the true depth of the conspiracy within his ranks was a blow to his sense of duty. The fallout. The fallout from their revelations was immediate and far-reaching. Kade initiated a covert investigation, using the evidence provided by Eliana, Dex, and Mira to root out the traitors within the Alliance. The process was fraught with danger, as those implicated in the conspiracy moved to protect their interests, unleashing a series of covert attacks and misinformation campaigns aimed at discrediting the trio. Eliana, Dex, and Mira found themselves at the center of a storm, their every move scrutinized by friends and foes alike. The Nebula Runner became a beacon of both hope and rebellion, a symbol of the fight against corruption and betrayal. A rift within. The strain of their situation began to take its toll on the crew. Mira, ever the optimist, struggled to maintain her faith in their cause, while Dex's cynicism grew, his patience fraying at the edges. Eliana found herself caught between her loyalty to the Alliance and her commitment to the truth, her role as a leader tested as never before. Amidst the turmoil, a deeper betrayal was uncovered, one that struck at the heart of their fragile alliance. General Kade, the mentor and father figure to Eliana, was revealed to have been unknowingly complicit in the early stages of the conspiracy, his actions manipulated by those he trusted most. Reckoning. The revelation of Kade's involvement was a bitter pill to swallow. Eliana was torn between her respect for the general and her duty to the truth. The confrontation that followed was charged with emotion, a clash of ideals and loyalties that left both parties shaken. Kade, faced with the undeniable truth of his actions, made the difficult decision to step down from his position, his reputation tarnished, but his resolve to see justice done unbroken. He entrusted Eliana, Dex, and Mira with the task of continuing the fight, his final orders a testament to his belief in their ability to heal the rifts within the Alliance. A new dawn. As the Nebula Runner departed Delphi 6, its crew now burdened with the legacy of Kade's trust, the galaxy seemed both larger and more intimate than before. The betrayal they had uncovered was a wound deep in the heart of the Alliance, but it also offered a chance for renewal, for the emergence of a new order built on transparency and trust. Chapter 8. The Turning Point. The departure from Delphi 6 marked not an end, but a beginning, as Eliana, Dex, and Mira faced the daunting task of steering the Alliance away from the brink of internal collapse. The evidence of corruption and betrayal they had uncovered was a catalyst for change, but the road to reform was fraught with challenges. As the Nebula Runner made its way through the star-strewn expanse of Valaris, a plan to expose the wider conspiracy and solidify support for a new dawn within the Alliance began to take shape. A gathering storm. Their first step was to convene a council of Alliance leaders, representatives from various planets and sectors who had remained untainted by the conspiracy. The meeting was to be held on Arcadia Prime, a planet known for its strong tradition of democratic governance and its pivotal role in the founding of the Alliance. The Nebula Runner arrived at Arcadia Prime under the cloak of secrecy, the gravity of their mission reflected in the somber moods of its crew. Eliana, once a soldier following orders, now found herself in the role of diplomat and strategist, her every decision rippling through the fabric of galactic politics. A council divided. The council meeting was a tense affair, with Eliana, Dex, and Mira presenting their evidence to a room divided by suspicion and fear. The revelations of deep-seated corruption within the Alliance's ranks were met with shock and denial by some, while others saw them as an opportunity to seize power or push their own agendas. Amid the tumult, Eliana stood resolute, her voice cutting through the chaos with clarity and conviction. She spoke of the need for unity and transparency, for a return to the ideals that had founded the Alliance. It was a plea not for power, but for peace. The plot unfolds. As the Council deliberated, news of an imminent attack on Arcadia Prime by the dissident faction reached the Nebula Runner. The attack was designed to disrupt the Council and sow further discord, a final desperate attempt by the conspirators to cling to power. Eliana, Dex, and Mira were faced with a choice: to continue their efforts to unify the Council or to confront the immediate threat. It was Mira who proposed a daring plan: to use the Nebula Runner as a decoy to draw away the attacking forces, giving the Council the time it needed to reach a consensus. A leap of faith. The plan was fraught with risk, the Nebula Runner vastly outmatched by the firepower of the dissident faction. Yet there was a sense of inevitability to their decision, a feeling that their journey had always been leading to this moment. As the Nebula Runner soared into the path of the incoming fleet, Eliana piloted with a skill born of years of experience, her maneuvers buying precious time for Arcadia Prime. Dex manned the ship's weapons, his shots precise and strategic, while Mira worked feverishly to jam the enemy's communications, sowing confusion among their ranks. The tide turns. The battle was a testament to their courage and ingenuity, the Nebula Runner a beacon of resistance against the darkness threatening to engulf the galaxy. And as the Council watched from Arcadia Prime, the resolve of its members was galvanized by the display of selflessness and unity. The tide of the battle turned when reinforcements from the Alliance, rallied by the message of unity Eliana had sent, arrived to lend their support. Together, they repelled the attack, saving Arcadia Prime and dealing a decisive blow to the dissident faction. Unity restored. In the aftermath of the battle, the Council reconvened, its divisions healed by the shared experience of facing a common enemy. The conspiracy within the Alliance was publicly exposed, its architects brought to justice through the evidence Eliana, Dex, and Mira had gathered. The Council emerged from the crisis stronger and more unified than before, committed to rebuilding the Alliance on the principles of justice, transparency, and peace. Eliana, Dex, and Mira were hailed as heroes, their actions a turning point in the galaxy's history. Reflections. As the Nebula Runner departed Arcadia Prime, its crew took a moment to reflect on the journey they had undertaken, They had faced the darkness within the galaxy and within themselves, emerging not unscathed, but undeterred, their bonds strengthened by the trials they had endured. Eliana looked out at the stars, a sense of peace settling over her. They had navigated the turning point, but their journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, its mysteries and challenges unending, but they faced the future together as guardians of a new dawn. Chapter 9. Sacrifices for Peace. In the wake of the battle for Arcadia Prime and the unification of the Council, the galaxy stood on the precipice of a new era. Yet the path to lasting peace was paved with personal sacrifices, a truth that Eliana, Dex, and Mira were soon to confront. As the Nebula runner charted its course through the stars, a new mission emerged, one that would test their resolve and demand the ultimate sacrifice. A fragile peace. The unity achieved at the Council was a significant victory, but the remnants of the dissident faction remained a threat, scattered across the galaxy, plotting their resurgence. Information came to light about a final stronghold, a secret base where the faction was amassing forces for a last, desperate strike against the Alliance. The decision to dismantle this stronghold was unanimous, but the mission was fraught with danger. The base was heavily fortified, located in the treacherous expanse of the Shattered Nebula, a region known for its volatile stellar phenomena and the ease with which ships could vanish without a trace. The plan. Eliana, Dex, and Mira devised a plan to infiltrate the base, disable its defenses, and gather the intelligence necessary to ensure its destruction. The Nebula runner would lead a small squadron of Alliance ships, using the information Mira had extracted from their previous missions to navigate the nebula's hazards. As they prepared for departure, the weight of the mission pressed heavily upon them. This was not just a battle for the future of the Alliance, but a personal journey into the heart of their fears and hopes. The final mission. The journey through the Shattered Nebula was a test of skill and nerve, the Nebula runner and its companions weaving through the shifting maelstrom of space. As they approached the stronghold, the reality of the situation set in. This was likely a one-way mission, the chances of escape slim. Eliana piloted the ship with a calm determination. Dex manned the weapons with grim resolve, and Mira coordinated their approach, her technical prowess guiding them through the enemy's defenses. Together, they breached the stronghold, setting the stage for the final confrontation. The sacrifice. The battle within the stronghold was fierce, the corridors echoing with the sounds of conflict. As they fought their way to the heart of the base, Eliana, Dex, and Mira faced the leaders of the dissident faction, the architects of the galaxy's suffering. It was in these final moments that the true extent of the sacrifice required became clear. The stronghold was set to self-destruct, a last, spiteful act by the faction leaders. Eliana made the decision to stay behind, ensuring the escape of her companions and the success of the mission. Dex and Mira protested, their bonds forged in the fires of adversity too strong to break now. But Eliana was resolute, her choice a reflection of her journey, from a soldier haunted by her past to a leader willing to give everything for the future. Legacy. The Nebula runner fled the stronghold, carrying Dex and Mira to safety as the base erupted in a blinding explosion, the shockwave rippling through the nebula. Eliana's sacrifice marked the end of the dissident faction's threat, her actions ensuring the dawn of a new era for the galaxy. In the aftermath, as the news of her sacrifice spread, Eliana Rey became a symbol of the cost of peace, her legacy a beacon for future generations. Dex and Mira, forever changed by their journey and the loss of their friend, dedicated themselves to building the future Eliana had believed in. Reflections of hope. As the galaxy began to heal, the Nebula Runner continued its journey, now under the command of Dex, with Mira by his side. They traveled the stars, spreading the story of Eliana Rey, of the sacrifices made, and the peace won. In every corner of the galaxy, her story ignited a flame of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, individuals could shape the destiny of the stars. Chapter 10. New Beginnings. In the silence that followed the cataclysmic destruction of the dissident faction's stronghold, the galaxy found itself at a crossroads. The sacrifice of Eliana Rey had become a galvanizing force, a symbol of the price of peace and the value of unity. As the Nebula Runner, now a legend in its own right, continued its journey through the stars, Dex and Mira carried with them not only the legacy of their fallen friend, but the responsibility of nurturing the fragile peace she had helped secure. The aftermath. The aftermath of the Stronghold's destruction saw the Alliance and its member planets entering a period of reflection and rebuilding. The unity forged in the face of adversity held strong, the Council's resolve stiffened by the knowledge of what had been lost to achieve peace. Across the galaxy, communities came together to honor Eliana's memory, her story inspiring countless others to work towards a future where such sacrifices would no longer be necessary. Dex and Mira's mission. For Dex and Mira, the loss of Eliana was a deeply personal wound, one that would never fully heal. Yet, in their grief, they found purpose. Dex, once a rogue smuggler, embraced his role as captain of the Nebula Runner, using his skills and the ship's reputation to mediate disputes and ferry aid to those in need. Mira, her brilliance recognized and her potential unleashed, became a leading voice in the development of technologies aimed at healing the scars left by war. Together, they formed the core of what would become known as the Rey Initiative, a foundation dedicated to peacekeeping and reconstruction throughout the galaxy. The initiative's efforts were manifold, from negotiating peace treaties to rebuilding war-torn communities, each project a testament to Eliana's vision. A galaxy reborn. As years turned to decades, the galaxy of Valaris underwent a transformation. Planets once ravaged by conflict bloomed anew, their cities and cultures a vibrant tapestry of resilience and renewal. The Alliance, strengthened by the trials it had endured, emerged as a true union of peoples, its governance transparent and its purpose clear. The Rey Initiative grew alongside, its missions expanding beyond the immediate needs of post-war recovery to address the deeper challenges of galactic coexistence. Under Dex and Mira's guidance, it became a beacon of hope, a reminder of the power of collective action and shared dreams. Eliana's legacy? Eliana's sacrifice was never forgotten. Statues and memorials were erected in her honor on countless worlds, each bearing inscriptions that told her story, but it was in the hearts of those she had touched that her legacy truly lived on. Dex and Mira, in their travels and their work, carried her spirit with them, a guiding light in the darkness. The Nebula Runner, now a symbol of the enduring quest for peace, continued its voyages across the galaxy. Its crew, a rotating assembly of diplomats, scientists, and peacekeepers, served as the living embodiment of Eliana's ideals. Reflections on a starlit deck. On the deck of the Nebula Runner, looking out into the vastness of space, Dex and Mira often found themselves reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this point. The galaxy around them was a different place, shaped by the choices of individuals who dared to dream of something better. In the quiet moments between stars, they spoke of Eliana, of the moments shared and the lessons learned. Her memory was a touchstone, a reminder of the fragility of peace and the strength required to maintain it. A new dawn. As the story of Eliana, Dex, and Mira comes to a close, the galaxy of Valaris stands as a testament to the power of hope and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. From the ashes of war, a new beginning has emerged, a future built on the sacrifices of the past and the unyielding belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. The Nebula runner sails on, its course set by the stars, its crew ever vigilant, ever hopeful. In every world it touches, in every life it changes, the spirit of Eliana Rey lives on, a beacon guiding the galaxy towards a future of peace and prosperity.